Welcome into the Monroeville Convention Center. I'm Jeff Upson, joined in by Midwinter Mayhem. That's a mouthful. Midwinter Mayhem Tournament Director Paul Myers, and we just got done watching Berlin and Midwest go at it. We're getting ready for tomorrow. Paul's a good friend of ours and has been a huge help to us over the years. And Paul, tell us a little bit about the Midwinter Mayhem. How many years has it been now?
Second year.
Second year
in the tournament.
Okay. And normally at IUP, COVID forced a move to Monroeville Convention Center. What do you think of the venue so far? I mean, you've got to do some things here. The mats look good. Everything looks good.
Yeah, I mean, the venue's great. It's humongous. I mean, we have 8 mats set up in here right now, but I guarantee you could probably fit like 60 in here.
Yeah, you could definitely fit a good amount in here.
It's great for the social distancing because we have the whole back room for the wrestlers to hang out and
right
while all the wrestling's going on out here.
Right. Yeah, definitely a good setup here with the 8 mats. And tell us a little bit about the schedule. I know that has been a huge headache for you because it's changes and now just a lot. Tell us a little bit about how the day is going to look tomorrow and Saturday.
So unless it changes again, but so Group 1 is weighing in at 8 a.m. Wrestling starts at 9 with the quarterfinals. Gonna wrestle that all the way up to the placement bouts. So each division is gonna have 2 brackets, 2 8-man brackets ideally. Mm-hmm. They'll wrestle to the top 4, and then those top 4 will wrestle a crossover placement match. So each champ will wrestle for first. The runner-ups will then wrestle for third for 5th, 4th for 7th and 8th. So hopefully that round ends around like 1, 2 o'clock. Should go pretty fast with 8 mats. Yeah. And then Group 2 comes in at 2 o'clock. They do the same thing and crown a champion in each division. Unfortunately, with the schedule change, we're not going to be able to wrestle the full crossover placement match, so we only have 1 champ. But you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, you've had to jump through a lot of hoops and do a lot of different things to even get this thing going and off the ground, right? So, I mean, it has been a huge relief when you walked in here and actually had things set up because you've been playing this for a long time. You've been flexible, a lot of changes. I mean, God bless you for playing in a tournament during COVID.
Yeah, it's been rough. There's been so many changes. I mean, we had to change venues, then started out with 43 confirmed teams, got down to 10 teams, and then I had to send out invites, post on social media. I mean, do a lot, make phone calls, text messages, favors in order to get up to 28. I did have a couple teams, they needed to drop out this week due to some COVID concerns, but I was able to fill those 2 spots with Bell Vernon and Lima Central Catholic out of Ohio is bringing a kid in for us. So
a lot of tough teams here. Malvern Prep comes to mind. They're one of the best in the nation. Mm-hmm. They're coming in with a litany of just tough wrestlers. You got Hempfield area out of District 7 that'll be coming in. Brookville, right?
Yeah.
Brookville, they travel well. Their fan base is large and strong. And, man, they're at Forest Hills.
Yeah.
There's going to be some big names coming in here tomorrow to wrestle. I can't wait for it, Paul.
Yeah, I wish we could just have 1 bracket and settle the whole thing because there's surprisingly the 28 teams. There's not really many weak spots in there.
No. If you combine the 2, there's not a whole lot of weak spots. So,
yeah.
I was trying to explain it to someone how it's going to work, and it's almost like 4 tournaments in itself. You got your 2, you got we'll call it 32, and they split in half, 16, but then that's split down even further, but the good thing is everyone's going to get a lot of matches. They're going to get a lot of wrestling. It's going to be great.
As a tournament director, I wouldn't recommend doing this style in the future because it is a ton of work. Even with Flow Arena making it easy, it's still, it's a ton of work. But we'll get through it.
So we're going to start going through some of the brackets here for what we should expect tomorrow. And again, we'll call it 106A, but it's really just we're really just looking at 2 different tournaments, right? Mm-hmm. So we call it the morning and afternoon session. We'll call it, the high school Division 1. In the first 8-man bracket, we got Shane Simpson from Pine Richland up at 106 pounds as the top seed. Snoop Shilkoski
Mm-hmm.
from Forest Hills as the second seed. Logan Williams from Hempfield, and Joseph Longhigh and Vincent Goods from Bell Vernon. So, I'm happy to see some guys at 106, right? That's one of the weights where we've seen a good amount of forfeits, 106 pounds in the B. So A is a pool that they're going to be wrestling itself. Then those winners, those meet. The third and the second places, they wrestle, right?
Mm-hmm.
The third.
Yep.
Carson Handra from Norwin is in B. Brock Holderbaum, another Holderbaum.
Yeah.
From Chestnut Ridge is in there as well. Christian Galetti from General McLean, and Jared Popson from Brookville. So a lot of new faces here.
Yeah.
A lot of unknowns here. Shane Simpson from Pine Richland has some varsity experience, but really just a lot of unknowns here at 106 pounds. So.
Yeah, I mean, the two guys there at the top, they were both over 500 last year, so they get the top 2 seeds. And then I know that Brock Holderbaum was a junior high Mountain Conference state champ, or not state champ, Mountain Conference champ last year. And then I know Snoop Shilkoski has been to the PJW and junior high state tournament a few times. So.
Yeah, Holderbaum currently is ranked 19th in the state in AA according to PA Power Wrestling. So, those Chestnut Ridge guys, they know how to wrestle out there. Speaking of Chestnut Ridge, 113 pounds, returning state runner-up.
Yep.
Kalen Bowman, and he is, man, I'm kind of surprised to see him at 13 because he was big last year as a freshman. I think he wrestled like 20 a little bit.
Yeah.
And came down. So I was kind of surprised to see him at 13 this early in the season.
Yeah, I actually I ran a couple tournaments down there at Compound Ridge, and he was down there, and he looked big, and I said, "What are you wrestling this year?" And I was shocked whenever he said 13.
Yeah. He comes in ranked number 1 in the state in AA. We also have Colin Bartley from Laurel. He's the second seed in the 113A division. Anthony Ferraro from Pine Richland. Tony DePolo from Forest Hills, and Gabe Galadio from Thomas Jefferson is also in there at 113 pounds. Ferraro comes in ranked 22nd in the state in AAA, and Colin Bartley from Laurel, he comes in ranked 5th.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Bartley-Bowman match, that could be, if that's in the finals one, that's going to be. I wouldn't look past Bartley, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty decent weight.
It is.
Like even in the B pool, Caden Walters, a state place winner there from Brookville, and Gavin Capella from Lima Central Catholic. He's ranked 2nd in Ohio right now, state qualifier. His coaches were pretty excited about getting him in because of especially how deep the weight is, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Caden Walter, Brookville state medalist. You also got Jack Consiglio from Malvern Prep, who's really those Malvern Prep guys. I mean, they're just deep. You know, every year the top incoming freshmen. There's so many of those guys.
Yeah, I mean it makes it hard to seed too because you got 4 high school state qualifiers at least, and then you throw in a tough freshman like that. You know he's going to be in the mix, but you don't know exactly where to put him.
Right. Connor Henning from Norwin is also in there. Ben Watkins from General McLean, and Sean Kane from Mount Pleasant area. So 113 looking like being a good bracket there. I'm excited to see state runner-up Kalen Bowman back on the mat. 120, big one here, and that is Mason Gibson from Bishop McCourt, making his debut for Bishop McCourt here at Mason Gibson is. You know, what's not to say about him? He's ranked number 1 in the state. He won True Power against Gary Steen. Super 32 champ as an 8th grader, Super 32 runner-up this past year. Man, I can't believe he's 120 too. I mean,
yeah, he's a stud.
He's a stud.
Big. He's going to be big at 20, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is. You know, in his weight class here at 120 pounds in the A pool, Luke Passarelli from Norwin, he's in there as well. In the mix, he's been in and out of the rankings. Kyle Mathis from Malvern Prep, Ethan Brest from General McLean, and Brian DeLone from Pine Richland, and Aiden Stella from TJ. So, man, Gibson, you know, and we look at the B division here. I think a lot of people are looking at the Owen Reinsel from Brookville, you know, if he should win. to get Mason Gibson. That's a good test for Mason.
Yes,
right?
state placer.
Right.
Right off the start of the season. So
Caden Walter comes in ranked Owen Reinsel comes in ranked 4th in the state. So you have a 1 versus 4 there. In the 120B bracket, we have Ethan Lieben from Hempfield, Brady Poole from Mount Pleasant, Kobe Burkett is the 3rd seed, and Hunter Forcellini. Man, that sounds like a dinner meal.
Yeah, yeah. He's probably chomping at the bit to get back on the mat.
Okay.
I know that. He didn't get to wrestle last year due to a transfer, but I guarantee he's ready to get back. He's been PJW state qualifier, and I don't know if he's ever placed, but he's definitely been in there in the past. So.
Yeah, I was surprised. There's a lot of new names for Forest Hills.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of names that we may not necessarily recognize right off the bat. So I'm excited to see how some of these guys do. One guy that I know a lot of people know, and that's because he's a state champion. He was a state champion last year, and that's Ethan Berg from Hempfield. Jeanette, he's from Jeanette, wrestles at Hempfield. Super tough kid, really nice. He was the story of the AA or the AAA state tournament last year.
Came out of nowhere,
right? He had a great path. He grinded out wins to get a state title, beat Aiden Lewis in the finals. Had to get by a lot of tough guys like Ben Mon to get there, and of course Carter Dybert was upset by Dante Frenzy. So
yeah.
it was a crazy bracket, but Ethan, he wrestled really well.
Yeah.
So
nobody asks how you won states; they just ask you if you're a state champ, right?
Right. They don't ask you. So I'm excited to see him at 126 pounds, see if he can continue that trend, going forward, and kind of put the world on notice, like, hey, that wasn't a fluke last year.
Yeah.
Right. So Ross Dahl from Chestnut Ridge is also in there as well.
State qualifier, ranked 10th.
Yep, state qualifier. He comes in ranked number 10th in the state. Berg actually is number 1 in the state at 126 pounds. Some other guys in the weight class include Jude Martiak. Is that
Martiak? Yeah.
Martiak from Forest Hills. So again, another new name from Forest Hills. Mark Poleski from Pine Richland. I am awful at pronouncing names, so forgive me. Gabe Conboy from Norwin and Jacob Sizer from General McLean. That's in the 126A. 126B is a guy who we just got to see, Connor Heckman from Midwest. We got to see him wrestle a good Hunter Cornell, but Heckman's long. He's really long. He was just a state, or he's a regional placer last year, and I thought he looked really good tonight.
Yeah, he's long. That's a great way to put it.
Right.
He was throwing cradles
left and right. Actually, all of Midwest seemed to be really strong in the cradle department.
Yeah.
So had they had a few more guys in the lineup, I'm sure they probably, 126B is very tough. You got Spencer Barnhart from Malvern Prep, super tough kid coming up from 106. You got Nathan Kurtulis from TJ, Thomas Jefferson, another guy who kind of can grind out wins. Logan Oakes from Brookville, not too shabby. And the guy I'm looking forward to is Greg Shallis from Mount Pleasant. He's a freshman, but I've been hearing good things out of the room from him.
Yeah, junior high state qualifier. I've been hearing some good things about him too.
So we had mentioned how Forest Hills, a lot of new names on there, but Jackson Arrington's a name that we are very quite familiar with, a state champion 2 years ago. He is at the top of the bracket in 132A. He's looking to prove himself after last year, right?
Yeah, he's a stud. Hard worker, good kid. I love watching Jackson wrestle.
Yeah.
Just the mentality and the way he hand fights and just goes after it.
I can remember at our first Surge tournament seeing him as a freshman wrestle there, and he just has that grit to him, right? He has that kind of young gun style where he's just going out there, he's banging heads. I really like the way he wrestles.
Uncle Shane taught him well.
Uncle Shane did teach him well, right? I can remember seeing Shane in the stands at state before the finals, and he was nervous, but he definitely has it in his blood. Kyle Cousins from General McLean is also in there at the second. Sam Albright from Chestnut Ridge, Nate Campbell from Norwin, Burke Fleming from Brookville, Aiden Beam from Norwin, and Aiden Pierce from Laurel. So, I think this is probably Jackson's to win or to go here. But Kyle Cousins, I'm not looking past General McLean, guys. 132B. Josh Varango from Malvern Prep.
Transfer.
Transfer in, yep. So a guy who was very tough for, I believe, Westchester
Ruston.
Bayard Ruston. Very solid wrestler who's now at Malvern Prep. Briar Priest, I've got to see him a few times this year. He was a 6-pounder last year. He was a Powerade runner-up. Now he's up at 132 pounds. He's the second seed here, so I'm interested to see how he does up at a couple weights.
Yeah, Villarango was at the Midwinter Mayhem last year with Westchester Ruston.
Yeah, with Ruston, that's right.
Yeah, so I got to see him a little bit last year. It's going to be interesting to see how he's transitioning into the Malvern side of things.
Yeah, I mean, having some partners in the room, such as the Malvern Prep, wrestlers, that's a pretty big bump and help to him.
Yeah.
Jameson Puclembio, I believe that's how you say it. I mean, I could be totally wrong on that. I mean, Mount Pleasant, they've got a ton of tough freshmen. He's one to watch, Brady Fritz from TJ and Brecken Saleski from Brookville, and McLean Stank from Thomas Jefferson as 132. So Varango, Priest, whoever comes out of there, Jackson Harrington, see if they can, make it competitive here.
Yeah.
138 pounds in the A bracket. We got Reed Fulmer from Malvern Prep. Super tough kid. I really like him a lot. Got to see him at the Surge. Got to see him several times last year, and I'm very excited to see him in this bracket because 138 here is tough.
Yeah.
I think at 138, even in the A bracket, Ben Eckenrod from TJ is very solid. Regional qualifier. Lucas Capusta. Lucas has really come onto his own at 138 pounds. He won the NA tournament last weekend. Had a good performance there, so I'm very curious to see Lucas Capusta and if he can, he's gonna have a tough semifinal should he get there, and tough finals probably against Fulmer or Minerva or Bowman. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine Fulmer would be able to come out on top of that round of 12 in preps last year, but it'll be definitely fun to watch the bottom half how it turns out.
138B. Keelan Laffey, super under the radar kid.
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot of people know him, and he's been so close to making it to the state tournament. He's been right in the mix. He's beaten a ton of state ranked guys before, but he just hasn't, he hasn't made it to the state tournament before.
Yeah, 30+ wins last year.
Right, exactly. Luke Gebig from Mount Pleasant, another guy who's been in the mix. He's been around, has been close to really breaking out. He's in there as well. Austin Auker from Midwest. We got to see him earlier tonight. I thought he looked really good. I'm excited for this top or the bottom half of the 138 because Auker, Gebig, Laffey, and then you got Josh Popson from Brookville. So, and Ty Templeton from Forest Hills. Don't know much about him.
He's a tough kid. I mean, he's your typical Forest Hills grinder. Buys into Jake Strayer's system, which, I mean, how couldn't you? But
right.
But yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be tough.
Okay, so not an easy out, right?
No, not an easy out for sure.
Right.
Definitely not.
145 pounds, John Altiri from Norwin. Really like the kid. Really like the way he wrestles, man. He wrestles really tough. Actually got to see him in action against Latrobe a couple nights ago.
Okay.
State medalist, going to Clarion. So super talented wrestler. Dustin Flynn from Forest Hills.
Yeah, regional qualifier last year as a freshman.
Right. So coming into the sophomore year, can he kind of have a breakout year? This is the question, right? But John Altiri's, I think, clearly the favorite here.
Yeah.
But Charles Krepp from Laurel is also here. Jack Moyer from Chestnut Ridge. Caden Wolfley from Midwest, who we got to see here tonight. And Ben Aju from Hempfield. 145 pounds in the B bracket. Matt Lehan from General McLean. So General McLean was AA last year. Well, for the last 2 years. They've been on the cusp, but they've been moving around from AA to AAA for the last 10 years. But they're back in AAA now. Matt Lehan's one of those guys who's been around for Coach Ryan Cook for quite some time now. And, he comes in ranked number 13th in the state. John Altiri is number 2 in the state.
Mm-hmm.
I like this bracket because you got Charlie Mensch as well from Hempfield, who's not too shabby. Cale Bacaizo from TJ, watch out for him.
Yeah, he's tough.
Yeah, super tough guy who a lot of people know. Lucas Shallis from Mount Pleasant is here as well. Dom Shabinski from Bell Vernon. I like this top half. This one's a toss-up in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm more not that I'm not interested in the other half, but if I had to pick between the two, I think this is going to be the more competitive side of things. You got 3 tough guys in there.
Yeah, and you look at the rankings, and Cale Bacaizo comes in ranked number 12th. Matt Lehan comes ranked in 13th. So you got 2 guys top 12 in the state in the same pool.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. 145 pounds.
I'm trying to help you out with your rankings.
I appreciate that. 152 pounds. Another debut, and that's for Eric Gibson of Bishop McCourt, formerly of Forest Hills, a 2-time state medalist. He was 3rd as a freshman. Last year had the injury default, and this year, he's been wrestling all summer, man. He's been looking really good. He just go. This is his year, right? That's the question.
That's the question.
Can you answer it?
He's gonna figure it out real quick. This and 160. The next 2 weights are super tough, loaded.
Yeah. So you said it. I'll second it. 152 is probably my favorite bracket here because you have guys like Eric Gibson, Mikey Zakor, Luke Moore from Chestnut Ridge, and that's only an A.
Yeah.
Right?
The top 7 seeds here are state qualifier or better.
Right.
So, and that's only in the one division.
That's in the one division. Right. They're not only the winner there makes it to the finals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Eric Gibson comes in ranked number 1 in the state. Mikey Zakor comes in ranked number 9 in the state, and that's in AAA. Luke Moore comes in ranked number 8th in the state in AA. Look at that's a ton of state ranked guys, and then of course Jesse Stemka from General McLean, he's ranked 22nd, super under the radar guy.
Yeah.
A PJW runner-up, I believe.
Yeah, runner-up.
From General McLean, I really like him. I think he's going to surprise people. I don't know much about Victor Busi from Malvern Prep.
Yeah, he was a 20-match winner last year. The reason I seeded them the way that I did is, Bucci has the varsity experience. Give the junior high runner-up it's see where you're at right off the bat.
Right, got to prove it in high school, right?
Yeah.
So 152A, we got Eric Gibson, number 1 in the state. Ty Linsenbigler, 152 pounds in the B. Ty comes in ranked number 5th in the state. He's going to Lock Haven, 2-time state medalist. Grant McKay from Laurel, formerly of North Allegheny, at Laurel this year, state qualifier last year as a freshman for North Allegheny in AAA. He comes in ranked number 3 in the state in AA. Man, this is tough.
That's going to be a fun final match to watch there.
So, and then let's throw in Trevor Wyant from Chestnut Ridge. You got Connor Johnson from Mount Pleasant. And another Wyant, you got Luke Wyant from Norwin. Linsenbigler, McKay, winner to take on Eric Gibson. Gibson and Linsenbigler wrestled at Powerade last year with Gibson getting the win, but 2 guys that love to compete. I got to see Ty Linsenbigler last week at North Allegheny. Kind of surprised to see him at 52, but 45 in the Whippeal, so stacked. Well, so is 52. You got Alejandro Herrera. You got you got Rocco Welsh. So it's pretty tough anywhere you go. 160. So we thought 52 was tough. 160 is even tougher, right? And guys that we know very well, Cole Spencer, Pine Richland, starting quarterback for Pine Richland, 3 years. He's a 2-time state champ in football. Can he win one in wrestling? He's going to Penn next year. Yeah. State medalist last year.
State finalist.
And state finalist state medalist 2 years ago as a freshman. I love the way he wrestles. But, man, you got Wyatt Griffin from Brookville in the top half with him. You got Owen Quinn from Malvern Prep on the bottom half. And you got Jackson Spires from General McLean. Remember him because he won the Surge.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
That was a huge tournament for him at the Surge last year. State medalist last year. And that's only in the one bracket. Yeah. That's only in one pool.
Yeah, so the top 7 overall seeds in this weight too are state qualifier or better. So I mean,
yeah,
back-to-back weights, grinders,
man. So you look at the rankings and how they rank coming into the tournament. Cole Spencer's number 2 in the state at 160 pounds. Jackson Spires is number 4, and you know that's just in the first bracket, right? So Wyatt Griffin is right in there, right in the mix. Let's go over 160B. Avery Bassett, Midwest. We just saw him, not too long ago.
Yeah, he put a takedown clinic on out
Yes,
there.
he did. It was hard for the scorers. We were like, I think it's 18. It could be 24
yeah.
for all we know, right? Avery Bassett, state medalist, going to George Mason University. He was 3rd in the state last year. Him and Eric Gibson had some battles. He's a Super 32 medalist. Got a lot of interest after that tournament. He comes in ranked number 2 in the state. So we got 2 guys ranked number 2 with Cole Spencer and A, Avery Bassett, number 2 and B. Ryan Wyant from Forest Hills, state medalist last year, was 8th in the district the year before that. He comes in ranked number 5 in the state in double A. Chase Krantz from Norwin. Do not sleep on this kid. Super tough. 6th in the state currently. State qualifier last year. I'm not going to look past him at all. I would not be surprised to see him give Ryan Wyant some trouble in the semifinals should they both make it there.
Yeah, I mean the Ryan Wyant, he's a string bean, man. He's a lurch. Like he just latches onto you, and he's tough to wrestle the first time. I don't know if these two wrestled in the past, but I know like he just has that style that is, if you've never done it before, it's like, where's this cradle coming from?
Right. I mean, they call him Spider, right? And he kind of wrestles like one too.
Oh,
he does a lot of jiu-jitsu, and you can tell the way he wrestles, just the way he contorts his body and stuff. It's a little unorthodox, right? So you're right. If you've never wrestled somebody like that or him, you could be in for some trouble. So Chase Krantz, Daniel Moore as well from Chestnut Ridge. He comes in ranked number 15th in the state. So you got 4 guys there ranked in the state, pretty high in the state too. That's just in B. So 160, I don't even know where to start here with trying to break this down, because there's a lot of talent here.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, just in those brackets alone, somebody is going to take like 8th place and they're going to be a state qualifier, or they're going to find themselves wrestling in the Conci semis and to just get into the placement bouts, and
it's going to be a war. It's going to be a war.
Good.
I can't wait to see the placement of that. 172 pounds, Andrew Connolly from Malvern Prep. He's a guy who was a national medalist last year, national prep medalist last year for Malvern Prep. Again, the Malvern guys, they wrestle a super tough schedule. Powerade, Beast, Ironman, national preps. They're everywhere. Escaped the Rock last year, so they're battle tested. Yeah. Jacob Luquez from Pine Richland. I like him, younger brother of Nate Luquez, who is at Pine Richland. Hasn't quite come onto the scene just yet, but he's in there. Jackson Zimmerman from Brookville. And Cody Stemka from General McLean's in there as well. So, I'd say Conley is looking pretty good here. Yeah. But, we shall see. That's an A. And B, Brian Finnerty from TJ. TJ has 3 guys, Mikey Zakor, Cale Bacaizo, and Brian Finnerty, that are all guys that get overlooked, I believe, time and time again, because, they're always right there. They're always right there, right? And all 3 of them are. They all came up through the youth together. They're all just, they're all really tough, but they're in the Whippeal in AAA, where it's a meat grinder to even get through. Yeah. So they may not have the recognition. But Finnerty, he comes in ranked number 20th in the state currently. Noah Nivas, what's he doing up at 172 pounds? He was like 132 last year, 138 something. He got that quarantine weight on him. He got something on him, man. Yeah. He comes in as the second seed here in this bracket, and he's number 23 in the state currently. Magnus Lloyd from General McLean. Keep an eye out for him. Yeah. State PJW medalist, kind of a guy who may be a little bit under the radar. So I always ask for coaches, like if a freshman, sophomore, first year varsity, or like JVs, I ask them to give me like a little excerpt. Beach and Cook always go above and beyond to make sure that their guys get their recognition, which I mean, Beach. Yeah, I respect the heck out of it. But
this was one of the guys that they were like, listen, watch out for him.
Yeah.
Make sure that you give him some consideration towards the seating. And, I mean, those General McLean guys are tough.
They certainly are, man. I love Ryan Cook, and I love you know, Beach up there. And Beach is like the biggest cheerleader for his guys. I love it. You know, he's always I love it. You know, that's what you got to be. You have to. You know, you got to be that you know, the guy who's knocking on doors and kind of saying, hey, watch out for this guy. Magnus Lloyd is one of those guys that I'm excited to see here compete, and it's a tough bracket for him. 189 pounds, Jack Waymeyer. Jack Waymeyer, Malvern Prep, ranked top. I think he's ranked currently in the nation number 2.
Yeah.
He's currently ranked number 2 in the nation at 189 pounds. Of course, Pennsylvania's weird and going to 13s and 189. But Jack Waymeyer, we saw him at True Power. He actually got pinned by Max Stout. Waymeyer was a surge champion last year, national prep medalist, has placed at basically everything, Ironman, Powerade, Beast. But he had some really big wins just a few months ago to propel him up to that number 2 ranking in the nation.
Yeah, I mean, he's another Malvern stud. You know, they
especially
go
the bigger guys.
Yeah.
You know, Andrew Connolly, you got Caden Rogers, you got Jack Waymeyer, and then of course Nick Feldman.
It's unfortunate some of the Malvern guys had to scratch out of this. Like Rogers is one of the ones that we're going to be missing this weekend. It would have been fun to watch a wrestle off there, more or less.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know, Jack's the big name there. Trey Lauver from Midwest is in there as well. He is a guy who we just got to see wrestle here a couple of hours ago. Excited to see that side of the bracket, but man, look at what's going on at 189B here, because we've got some pretty good talent here. James Laird from General McLean. The Lairds, I mean, they're like the Holder Bombs.
The Holder Bombs and Burkett's from Chestnut Ridge.
Right, the Lairds are they're everywhere. James Laird comes in. You know, he's one of the top guys out of the district, out of District 10. He is
state qualifier.
Yeah, state qualifier in AA last year, and of course General McLean AAA this year. What's up with your boy Ethan Marcuzzi? I saw he was heavyweight, and now talking about quarantine weight.
Yeah, he definitely got some football quarantine weight, lifted hard this summer. I mean, he's always been one of those guys that cut. You know, he'd start the season off at 195 pounds, and by the end of the year, he's at 60. Unfortunately, when you don't have as much time in the room, it's kind of hard to. We're just getting back into wrestling now,
right.
So yeah, it'll be fun to watch how he adjusts to the weight up there.
Yeah.
I mean, he started out at 215.
Oh wow.
And he's already down at 89. So it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts to that weight.
He's a journeyman, man. He's been around for, I feel like, forever. You know,
we need to get him over the hump.
Over the hump, right? And that's your job there, right?
Yeah.
Logan Hoffman from Bell Vernon, I really like him. He's very tough. Tristan Alava from TJ, another guy who's pretty tough. And actually, he and Eli Bukowski from Hempfield wrestled last week at the NA tournament. You know, I think this is a little bit more wide open. Obviously, Jack Waymeyer on the other side, but this one's a little bit more wide open, in my opinion. You know?
Yeah. There's still depth there. It's just after that, like Jack Waymeyer, I mean, the depth is all
he's
pretty
in one
even.
tier, right? Yeah, right. So let's go up to 215 pounds. There's a guy here by the name of Nick Feldman. Pretty good, right?
Watching him wrestle at True Power
was incredible. You know, someone asked me, they said, "Who's the best wrestler in the gym at True Power?" And I said, "Nick Feldman."
Yeah, you're gonna see him.
He's tough, man. He's done it all. You know, Fargo national champion, national prep champion, and in fact, yesterday he committed to the Ohio State University. So I can't wait to talk to him about that and the process he's going through to commit to Ohio State. They got a stud in Nick Feldman.
Yeah.
You know, he's ranked number 1 in the nation. He won at Flows, who's number 1. So yeah, there's not a whole lot more you can say about him.
No.
Other than the fact that everyone else in the brackets is kind of upset. Brace Rafferty from Brookville, you know, he's in there. Grant Williams from Norwin, but and Jake Bertini from TJ. But this is really wide open. I mean, this is just after Nick, it's wide open.
Yeah, I mean the top 3 are the class of this weight here. The 2 other guys are in the other bracket with Pitzer and Weightman. I bet Pitzer's chomping at the bit to get back on the mat. You win a state title as a freshman. You miss your whole sophomore year. I mean, he's probably like.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see him up at 215.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how big he is and how he handles. You know, so let's not put the cart before the horse here, because
he's got a tough match. I mean, everybody's saying it's going to be Feldman Pitzer. I'm like, you better just hold off for a second here.
So Owen Weightman from Malvern, you know, not bad guy who can battle. Ryan Shaw from Forest Hills is in there as well, but Cole Weightman, I saw him destroy the Whippeal competition last year at the regional tournament. Was a state semifinalist, right? Injury defaulted down the 6th, but man, once he
won by fall in his first 2 matches, didn't he?
Yes, he did, and you know, he was close with Gage Garcia last year at the Trojan Wars out in Chambersburg, 4-2. So Weightman is a guy, you know, he's a big-time football player. He's one of the best in the state. He's a big-time recruit in football, but you know, he loves to wrestle, and he loves to wrestle big-time matches. So,
he's got one.
He, you know, him and Dayton Pitzer, winner, a date with Nick Feldman. 215 is super stacked, and I love it. 285, you know, and we talked about this.
285 is.
And we don't even have Cole Deary, and it's still good. It's still really good.
Everybody's always like, oh, it's heavyweight. It's like, this is probably the best heavyweight bracket I've had in any tournament that I've ever ran.
Yeah, and you just look at the numbers here. Isaiah Vance comes in. He's ranked number 2nd in the state runner-up last year, 2-time state medalist, a big boy. He's a big kid. You know, he's definitely pushing 285 there. Wilson Spires from Jenner McLean, another guy from the Jenner McLean squad up there. He's ranked 25th in the state.
Yeah, regional place winner. I think he just missed out on a state.
Yeah, and he's young. He's young, a little bit bigger than Jackson. You know, a little bit. Yeah,
my little big brother.
Yeah, Joey Shank from Pine Richland, Matt Davis from Chestnut Ridge. But man, Isaiah Vance, he destroyed the NA tournament last week and just, you know, pinned his way through, pinned Tyson Brophy from Trinity in the finals there. So I expect much of the same here. But you look at B, and you got Nathan Taylor. So we talked about Nick Feldman. He wrestled Nathan Taylor at True Power. Nathan Taylor is coming up to 285 pounds. He looks good. He looks big.
Yeah.
And this one is going to be interesting because Mitch Miles is here as well. He's a
big boy.
Him and Isaiah Vance, man.
Yeah.
Put them on the scale.
Yeah.
That's dangerous, right? So Nathan Taylor, he comes in ranked number 2nd in the state. You know, Mitch Miles, he comes in 5th. I don't know. I mean, this is you know, Nathan Taylor is going to have to learn to wrestle these bigger guys.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So it's how he adjusts to that is the question.
Yeah, that's going to be. I mean, that's going to be the biggest thing is, can he handle all of the weight from Mitch Miles? But I mean, either way, it's gonna be fun to watch that.
Yeah. So that's the first tournament. So that happens in the morning. Right, that's in the morning. In the afternoon, we got several teams that come back. Commodore Perry, Du Bois, Elwood City, Fort LaBeouf, Kiski, Marion Center, North Star, Penn Trafford, Trinity out of District 7, and West Mifflin. Hunter Geibel from Commodore Perry is in there at 106.
Yeah.
Andy Sabishin, she was a runner-up last week at the NA tournament. We saw her at True Power. She wrestled Ava Bayless in girls freestyle. But, man, she beats boys. She beats plenty of boys. So
I ever seeded 3rd here.
As you should.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So, hey, go for it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, I've heard a lot of people say that they like watching her wrestle. So I'm excited to see her.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the brackets out for this. We're still there's been some scratches and some movement and everything. So we're about to seed this after we get off of here. So the brackets will be available for these soon, but we do have the preliminary seeds ready to go that we can discuss while we're on here. So
right, and 113 pounds. One of the big names here is Nathan Poleski from North Star. Comes in ranked number 10th in the state currently.
He had a big week last week.
Yeah, he did. He had a really big week last week. Eric actually, Knobslayer called me and said, "Hey, he's all these guys he beat.
Yeah,
he looked pretty good." Antonio Giordano from Kiski. Now this is interesting because originally he wasn't coming out for wrestling this year. He's a big-time track guy. You know, he's just been a huge integral part to Kiski over the last couple of years of their state run. You know, he comes in ranked 21st in the state, so I won't look past him. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we had Troy Homan had to scratch here.
State qualifier for Penn Trafford.
A little bit of an injury type thing, but small weight here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and 120 pounds is a little bit small in the this tournament. Ryan Klingensmith from Kiski, Hayden Coy from Penn Trafford. Excited to see how he does here. Gabe Latch from Berlin. There's we're going to see some people mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So 126 pounds. So we talked about Hunter Cornell. He wrestled Connor Heckman from Midwest here, but one guy I'm really looking forward to is freshman Blake Reiner from Trinity.
Yeah.
Heard a lot of good things out of the room from him. So excited to see how he does here.
Trinity's freshman class is
one of the best.
Yeah. I mean, there's what, four top incoming freshmen.
Yep. Jojo Sabishin, Andy's older brother, is here as well from Fort LaBeouf. And Wyatt Laser from Commodore Perry. So, some good talent there. 132 pounds. The big name here is Zach Whitmer. Right, going to Columbia next year. He's a 3-time state medalist. He's another guy who he came in as a freshman, really had solid credentials. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't been in the state finals yet. To be honest,
I bet. A lot of people are. I think he's surprised himself. He's probably going to look to go out in style his senior year. I can't believe he's back down 32.
I can't believe he is either. He's shorter, but man, you just think, hey,
no COVID weight there.
Right? No, not at all. Jesse Galadio from West Mifflin's not bad.
Liam Cornetto,
regional
right? Qualifier.
Yep. So. Whitmer's clearly the favorite here, but it should be competitive. You got 138 pounds, Chandler Ho.
This is definitely one final placement bout that I'm excited to see with Chandler Ho and Eamon Ole.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chandler Ho actually just beat Braden Bauer from Williamsport last night in overtime, 6-4. He actually just recently committed to Clarion, where his older brother is that now. So Colby Ho is there. He transferred from George Mason. So.
I'm interested to see how Ole responds. He battled injuries.
Oh my gosh.
I actually watched whenever it seemed like he blew out his ankle, but he wrestled on it all year. You could tell that it was bugging him. He wasn't moving like himself, but it'll be fun to watch him get back on the mat and get an early season test against Chandler.
You also have some other guys here, such as Ethan Connor from Kiski area. Again, the big names here. Ho, you got Ole, and even Finley. I like Finley too from Trinity. Trinity has some quality kids here outside of those freshmen. So that's 138 pounds, 145. So Bodie Morgan is one of those guys. He's one of the top incoming freshmen that we had mentioned last week. He had a few good matches, but got some. He got tested a little bit. He comes in ranked currently
21st.
Yeah, 21st in the state here. So pretty wide open in my opinion here. At 145 pounds, Braden Miller from Kiski, Evan Miller from Marion Center. But
sometimes it's nice to see the wide open weights because you never know how they're going to shake out. So you get surprised. You're like, wow, I didn't kind of makes people come out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Austin Mitchell from Du Bois. I think he's a guy who's looking to put some exclamation points on some wins. And Cameron Snowberger from North Star, another name you should know from North Star. 152 pounds. So you got Gavin Stewart, who comes in ranked number 18th in the state. You have Lucas Pazik from Penn Trafford, Logan Refner from North Star. So, again, a good healthy mix of some very quality wrestlers here. Gavin Stewart, probably the guy who's the favorite, but I wouldn't look past Pazik or Refner from North Star, right? So, anything on 52, Paul?
I actually have Pazik seated over Gavin Stewart. You try to go off of the points a little bit, but I wanted them to be separated. So
that makes sense to me. 160 pounds. Big one here is Enzo Merlocki from Kiski. So, guy who was in and out of the lineup last year, he was supposed to go to Wyoming Seminary, now back at Kiski. Had a great off season, man. He wrestled a ton of top competition and looked really good doing it. Enzo comes in ranked number 7th in the state, so he obviously earned some points there in the rankings. Tony Salopek from West Mifflin, also a guy who I think is going to be in the mix. Connor Yoder from North Star.
Jack Rimka from Fort
Rimpa.
LaBeouf.
Yep, Rimpa is right in there as well. So
Connor Yoder is a stud freshman.
Stud freshman, man. We're fortunate to have a lot of those stud freshmen here competing in the Midwinter Mayhem because there's a lot of them. So there's a good, healthy amount of competition here with Rimpa, Yoder, Salopek, and Rolaki. So
Clayton Smith was 29-13 last year. I mean, that's a good season.
Right. So 172 pounds. So Sammy Starr, Super 32 medalist. He was a state qualifier last year, regional runner-up. He's ranked 9th in the state currently. Timmy Church from Fort LaBeouf is ranked 20th in the state right now. And Gage Melser from Commodore Perry. All very, very good wrestlers here. Between Starr, Musser, and Church. I think we got a nice little weight class here, 172 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, you have some state qualifiers there at the top. It's going to be fun to see how this one ends up. I have Musser seated first, Starr third or second, and then Church third. So we'll see Starr and Church probably in the finals of the one bracket there.
Colton Furry as well from North Star. So
have him seated fourth.
Yep, 189 pounds. Braden Roskoski is the biggest name here. He's a state medalist from Kiski area. He's looked really well over the years. Danny Church from Fort LaBeouf, also a guy who has looked really well. He comes in ranked 16th in the state. Roskoski is 5th. So two guys that are going to look to put on a show.
Bryce Sailors from North Star, 20-plus match winner last year. So
215 pounds. Ty Banco from Trinity. He comes in ranked 24th in the state. Carter Diltz from Kiski, not bad at all. Zach Gallagher from Du Bois, and Brady Baborchak.
We got to see him briefly tonight.
He had a pin very quickly. He comes in ranked number 19th in the state. So again, good healthy mix. Not somebody who I would say is the clear favorite here.
No.
So, you like to see that. 285 pounds. So it was really good. It was really good at the in the first tournament bracket, but this one's pretty good as well.
Yeah, you got Beatty, state qualifier. You got Tyson Brophy.
Yep. Stone Joseph, Jack Kreider as well. So, a lot of guys from the Whippeal here that I think are going to try to push it. Beatty is he's ranked number 6 in the state currently right now. Brophy in AAA is 13th. So, even this bracket has a lot of tough guys in it. So
for sure.
What time's wrestling start tomorrow, Paul?
Wrestling starts at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. So we're going to roll right through it. We'll be streaming the finals of each tournament for sure. We may be doing some more as well, depending on the setup here. So, but we're definitely going to be doing the finals streaming. So, thanks to you, Paul. Thanks for everything tonight. And we're really looking forward to tomorrow. I hope you're all able to tune in tomorrow as we bring you the Midwinter Mayhem 2021.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, thank you.